Roger, understand. Go for landing. Eagle looking great. Houston, the Eagle has landed.
Well, hello everybody. Happy Friday. The Eagle has landed. I am Graham Nolan, and welcome to Desk Jockey Fitness. Going live this afternoon. It's 3:32 Eastern Standard Time. It's not our usual time on Fridays. We have a dinner guests coming tonight, so I couldn't do it at the 7 o'clock thing. So I wanted to get it in. I've been a little bit negligent in getting these out in a timely fashion. I'd started off Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, but it seems like it's too much with all the other stuff I got going on. So I'm moving them just to bookend it, start the week, end the week. So Monday and Fridays. So here we are Friday, and I figured we'll do some Q&As if anybody is actually out and about and around. We'll see if there's any comments in there. There are a couple comments that come in during the week through the YouTube site, so we could read those. And then I thought maybe I'd talk about some funny stories at the gym that happen, and not so funny ones that happen to me that usually involve injuries. So I see somebody left a comment here. Let's see who's here. Prater 7, he's here. He says, "What's up?" He says he's getting fat as we speak in real time. Chris Hernandez just checked in. Hello, Chris. Good to see you. If anybody else is out there, just chime in. If you have any questions about any of the previous shows or anything that's going on in your life, fitness-wise, diet-wise, feel free to throw them up, and I'll try and get an answer to you. All right, where's my questions? Here we go. Carl had a question. He says he's curious about my meal plans. When you write and you want a snack, what do? How do you take your coffee? Okay, that's a great couple of questions here to get us off and running. So the first one about my meal plans. Currently, I'm on about the easiest meal plan that you can do. It's called the carnivore diet. It's primarily you eat meat, and that's about it. Although, fat is a huge component. You got to get the fat in. So I also eat dairy, cheeses, cream, that kind of stuff. I'm not eating any vegetables. There's a whole reason behind that, and that's actually a show I'm going to be doing Monday called Are Vegetables Trying to Kill You? So that'll be, I think, an interesting, somewhat maybe controversial discussion. So I'm not eating any of that stuff. So it's really the perfect elimination diet. Eliminates everything but those necessary things you need, fat, protein, salt, and water. And I'm happy as a clam eating that way. So the answer is pretty easy. My meal plans, I don't have to plan them. I've done all the other ones. As I said in an earlier show, that I like to experiment and try to find that that perfect human diet, the one that makes me perform the best, makes me feel the best, that is the healthiest as far as like inflammation and how my body reacts. And this one really works for me. The science is there, and I'd be happy to talk about it. So that's the answer to that question. When you write and you want a snack, what do? Well, typically, when I eat like this, I don't want a snack. If I have like a nice sized ribeye or 3/4 to a pound of ground beef, with some cheese on it, something like that. It doesn't, I'm completely satisfied. So I can go, to my next meal without a snack. It's very, very easy. You don't think about it. When I was doing like bodybuilding style diets where you eat like, 8 meals a day, was it 3, 4, 5, 6 meals? I guess it's 6 meals a day. It's like every 3 hours you're eating. it's a pain in the butt, to get stuff ready, drink down protein shakes and all that kind of nonsense. So uh, I didn't care for that. This one, I could eat 2 meals a day and I would be fine. Just because I'm so satisfied and I've got all the nutrients that I need. How do I take my coffee? I take it with heavy cream. Yeah, none of that half and half nonsense for me. I put the heavy cream right in there. And I mean, I used to drink it black before I started doing this. And I still like it black. If I go to a restaurant and all they have is that fake crap, I won't put it in. I won't put milk in either. Um, but most restaurants have heavy cream. So you just got to be nice to the waitress and say, hey, you got heavy cream back there you could throw in there for me? And they'll usually do it. So that's how I do that. Hey, Ethan's here. I have a hard-boiled egg in the morning, and I'm good until like 2 p.m. That's excellent. Great. Again, fat and protein. You can't go wrong with that. You should probably eat more than that. Maybe eat a couple of those. Throw a little bacon in there too, something like that. But if just to get your protein levels and fat levels up, so that you have enough during the day to keep you going. But if that's working for you, bud, hey, I think that's great. If you can get through the morning until the 2 p.m. on just one egg, hey, maybe that's all you need. Chris Hernandez says, how long do you wait after a deep tissue massage to work out? I usually wait 24 hours. I've never had one, so I have no answer for that. Oh, Ethan just said, I just ate a 2-inch thick pork chop for lunch. Amazing. That is fantastic. It's funny. I had a pork chop as well. I had a leftover pork chop, but it wasn't quite big enough for what I needed. So I also threw in a Johnsonville brat that I had cooked up the day before. So I had like a sausage and a pork, and I cooked it up in Kerrygold butter. And it was delicious. And tonight we're doing the whole chicken. So I'll be eating, skin and all on that sucker. Prater7 says, I'm wanting to try carnivore diet because of Crohn's. I have no idea what to do regarding supplements, though. Prater, you won't need supplements. Everything you need will be in that diet for you. So, and I have read that Crohn's disease is, in many cases, eliminated or certainly mitigated by doing a carnivore style diet. Because your sometimes it takes a little while for anybody that goes on this that has been consuming lots of carbohydrates, that your body has to readapt. Your gut has to change and get back to a more productive gut. And also you have to burn off all the glycogen that's in you and in your liver. And that takes some time and could be a little bit difficult if you've been eating that standard American diet. But I just say to you, push through it. You'll feel a little foggy maybe. You might have some headaches or something early on, but that's going to go away and you're going to feel like $1 million. Trust me. Yeah. Operator 7 says again, oh, really? Cool. Yeah, I've heard great things about carnivore and the autoimmune issues like Crohn's. Yeah. Well, the carnivore diet is really the ultimate elimination diet. It eliminates all those things that cause inflammations in your body, in your arteries. And it's really the step past a keto diet. But, the keto diet has been around since the early 1900s. It's the most researched diet that there's ever been. And the fat loss was actually secondary to what it was originally designed for, because they found that children with epilepsy that consumed high levels of fat, moderate levels of protein, and very, very little carbohydrates had better clarity, and their seizures would stop from epilepsy. So that's where that diet originated from, and then this is an extension thereof. But it's not minimal or moderate protein. You're eating a lot of protein in a carnivore diet, and it tastes delicious. Prater again says, "Thank you, sir. I'm surprised how addicted to sugar I am." Haha. Hey, you know what? You're in a world that's addicted to it, and as a result, we have the diabetes problem in this country. We have obesity problems in this country, and it's all sugar related. It's really a national emergency that we need to start getting this information out here and stop telling lies to our kids about the proper way to eat. I'll get into discussions out with people or something. Hey, what are you doing? And I tell them, and then the first thing is, well, aren't you worried about your cholesterol? And and then I have to educate them about just what's good and what's not, because there's been so much junk science for so many years, and this whole saturated fat thing was all predicated on junk science. And it's only now that the researchers are starting to realize that that was never the issue. That was never a problem. And so I'm hoping to help get that out, along with there's a lot of people on YouTube who I follow that are much more knowledgeable than I. They're doctors, they're physicians that can tell you the ins and outs of the real science, the real research, and why we're doing what we're doing, and much better than I. I'm just trying to get the word out to the regular Joe, like me, the desk jockey, that guy that sits around all day, doing his work, making his living, and ways to stay healthy and stay strong. So that's what this show's all about. And I appreciate all you guys that tune in and watch it. All right, let's see if I got any more questions from the week. Well, there's a couple interesting comments too. Bub66, when on Monday when I talked about back issues and how to avoid them, how to deal with them, because as desk jockeys, it's a real problem for all of us that when you sit, it's really a terrible. It does a disservice to your body. This body is not meant to sit. It's meant to be in motion and moving. But our society is what it is, and we all have a lot of sit down jobs, so people develop back problems and back weaknesses. And one of the things I was talking about, and I didn't recommend, but people have been doing them, and I only brought it up just as a possibility, if it was something you wanted to explore, and that was the exercise called Good Mornings. And I don't like them. I think it's a lot of unnecessary strain on the back. And Bub66 says he totally agrees. He started weight training at 12 because he wanted to be the Hulk, like Lou Ferrigno. And the first time he saw the Good Mornings in a magazine, he thought that's bad back waiting to happen, because the first rule of lifting is you lift with your legs, not your back. So he didn't do them. He does this. He doesn't do those or stiff leg deadlifts or barbell bent over rows. Regular deads are better because you use legs, dumbbell rows, so you can support the lower back, and squats and blah blah blah. The one thing I would disagree in that thing is bent over rows. There's a way to do them that I promote, and that is you don't let the bar hang. Because that's where your problems help. If the bar is hanging, that's where your back is being pulled. So you bend over and you kind of tuck your chest on top of your knees as best you can, and then you grab the bar and you pull it like a deadlift. You pull the bar to the chest, and then you let gravity take it down to the ground. So you're going to pull every one of those rows from the ground. So that way, you could use more weight as well. And the lift is the pull. It's not the hang. It's not hanging there, because all that does is put extra stress on your lower back. So if you do that and you do it that way, that is an excellent back exercise. And you will feel it in the back of your shoulders. You'll feel it between your shoulder blades, and you'll feel it in your lats as well. And like I said, you can go heavy on that too. So it's a good one. Let's see. I've got a few other people have been popping in here, which is great. I know it's an odd time, 3:30 in the middle of a work day. So I appreciate everybody that's popping in on our unusual showtime today. Eddie Winkler says, hello all. Hello, Eddie. Prater 7 says, I find it very interesting how much veganism is promoted when all I've heard regarding meat only has been positive. Yeah, and I'm going to talk about that on Monday for Monday's show, which is, again, Are Plants Trying to Kill You? And so we're going to touch on that veganism. I mean, the first thing you have to understand about veganism is 100 years ago, it didn't exist. It couldn't exist because without supplements, you would die. It's as simple as that. You have to have B12, and the greatest source, and it may be the only source, is animal proteins. So without B12, the human organism will die. And so there's no way you could have been a vegan, 100, 150 years ago until they came up with these supplements you could add. Eric Mueller is here. Hello, Eric. He says, thank you for these. Dan Genovese says, oh, shoot, I'm late. You're not too late. He says, hail, chat. Hail, Graham. Eli Munoz, when I deliver mail, I do lunges for the 6 miles every day. My butt cheeks can turn coal into diamonds. Well, that might be TMI, Ellie, but I've heard about that mailman with the rock hard ass. That's a great way to do it, to get some exercise in, when you're walking anyway, do some lunges. Really great for your quads, your hamstrings, and your glutes. Vic wants to know, what do you think Ethan can do? I think he comes from the same as me, where you inherit tall, being short, skinny, or a ton of cortisol like me, except EVS actually looked very good in skinny ones. Not sure I understand that question. Ethan was in here, so he could answer that question himself. Where you inherit tall, being short, skinny, or a ton. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Prater's looking forward to the veggie video. My dad looked like Black Panther 2, Namor. Just imagine skinnier legs and fatter upper body. Oh, okay, Vic. I get you now. All right, so that's your genetic pool, so to speak. We're all limited to a certain degree by your genetics. You look at bodybuilders that they can build leg muscles like crazy, or the ones that can't build their calves, no matter how much weight they put on it. That is what it is. You have to be comfortable in yourself. What's important is, are you healthy and are you strong? Not to be chasing some type of look that magazines have created. I look at guys like what's his name, Eddie. He's one of the strongmen guys. He's got all that body fat on him, but he's got just giant muscle underneath. That's not to say, I want to look like that by any means. But what I mean is that, you'll see guys, they got some body fat around them, but it's really just subcutaneous body fat versus visceral body fat. Subcutaneous is okay, it might be a little unsightly, it's that fat that's underneath the skin, but it's not the fat like visceral fat that brown fat that surrounds your organs. That's dangerous. That you do not want. Um, but if you've got a lot of muscle underneath your subcutaneous fat, and you're strong, and you're healthy, then I wouldn't bust a hump. Um, you know, uh, Getting on a treadmill all day long to lose that body fat, if that's what you, unless that is what your goal is, and. But what I'm trying to say is just be happy with your look and focus on your strength and your health. Dan asks, what's your opinion of elimination diet? Well, you came in a little bit late, Dan, but I did talk about the carnivore diet, which I'm currently doing, which is the ultimate elimination diet, because you eliminate everything but meat and fat, salt and water. In my case, I'm eating cheese and cream, that kind of stuff, but you eliminate just about everything else. So the short answer is I think it's great. Eddie Hall, thank you, Dan. Macabre Derek is here. He says, good afternoon, all. Do you think subcutaneous body fat robs your muscles of nutrients when you're bodybuilding like some kind of parasite? I wish you could just threaten your fat. No, it's not going to rob your muscles of nutrients. The human body is shaped by fat. Otherwise we would look like something out of Grey's Anatomy. The fat gives us our shape, it gives us our form. It also is very, very important in regulating our hormones, and it's a energy source that our body uses when it needs it. I watch these videos by Dr. Sean Baker and what's that other guy's name? He's a neurosurgeon. Both those guys played professional rugby in their day. And the one guy, whose name I can't recall right now, said that, he's like the ultimate carnivore. I mean, he doesn't eat nothing that ain't meat and fat. He doesn't drink coffee, because coffee comes from a plant, or any of that, which I think is taking it a little bit too far. We are adaptive, and there are advantages to certain things when you treat them or cook them a certain way that you can benefit from. But be that as it may, he was talking about how, playing at elite level athletics and stuff, that without carbohydrates, he would excel at that. He could run rings around people, and his power was off the charts. And so, I think that's great. I forgot where I was going with that. I think it had to do with the fat, the body fat. William Byrne says, I used to drink 5 cans of Pepsi. 5 cans of Pepsi. Oh my God. Whew. Come to hair. I just went through that one. I'm visceral fat with a dash of bone, muscle, and organs. All right, let's work on more bone, more muscle. The organs are your organs, and we'll lose some of that visceral fat. Get your body moving, and get your diet down, dude, and you'll be good. Paul Johnson says, no coffee? What's the point of life? I'm with you, Paul. I have got to have my coffee in the morning. I look forward to it. I like it in the winter too. After dinner, if it's a cold night, have a nice cup of coffee, warm me from the inside. One of the things you also have to do is you have to keep hydrated, and coffee's a diuretic. So you got to try and drink water throughout the day. And I'll tell you, in the Northeast or any cold climate, trying to drink your water in the winter is difficult, because it gets me cold. But you got to get it in. just call them toe hair. Okay. Macabre. Derek says, yeah, kind of in the same spot. Shame to say I'm mostly doing wall push-ups because I let myself go far too long. Hey, dude, don't beat yourself up over it. It's a switch. You turn that switch over. Okay, I'm ready to make the change now. And that's it. And you start small like that. Start with wall push-ups, push-ups on your knees, whatever you can do, but build on it. If you can do, 5 of those, great. That's a start. Then maybe you try to do 6 the next day and 7 and stuff like that. And you start building it up. And then maybe you move to a more difficult push-up where now a true push-up. Now you can only do 2 of those. So you're going backwards, but you're not. You couldn't do one of those before. So you keep moving forward. You keep building on it. And before you know it, you're going to be taking that road towards your health again. Pull-ups are one of the hardest body exercises you can do, and I always wanted to master them. I remember in school I was never very good at pull-ups, so I bought a pull-up bar and I stuck it at the bottom of my stairs. My studio here is in the basement of the house, so anytime I got to go upstairs, I got to cross underneath that pull-up bar. And what I used to do when I was trying to teach myself to do them is I'd be drinking my water, right? So like after 20, 30 minutes, you got to pee again. So what I told myself is if I got to go upstairs to pee, I got to do as many pull-ups as I can after I come back down. And so that's what I did. The first time I did it, I could do maybe one or two. And man, was I sore. Those serratus muscles underneath your ribs here. There's little teeny muscles that don't get a lot of work. We're getting a lot of work by trying to do a pull-up. And, but I kept at it, so, do 1, I could do 2 and stuff like that. And at the same time, I was losing body fat, getting lighter. And then eventually I was able to do like 30 of them, just pop them off. Boom, 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 30. So it's just a question of I can't do 30 now, by the way. I'm heavier, I'm bigger. And I'm older. But, I could pop off 10, 15 dead hangs, where you go a full extension, not that CrossFit kipping nonsense. So that's still pretty good. But the point is that, with progressive overload, you keep adding to it and making your body have to adapt to the new load that you're putting on it. And eventually you'll get there. But you have to remember the 90%, or certainly 80% of it all is diet. You can lose weight, no problem, without doing any exercise on the proper diet. So if you're going to exercise, you got to make sure your diet is right for that too, so that you're building muscle, you're repairing the damage that's done, and you're not ravenously hungry so that you say screw it and then you give up on it. Because that's what happens to a lot of people, is that they go into it all gung-ho. They got their head wrapped around, I'm going to do it, this is my time, I'm really going to capture my health back here. And so they drop their calories down like 500 calories. Then they do all these extra workouts, and they're burning calories there. And now they're at this gigantic caloric deficit so that they're just starving. They feel miserable. They feel weak and tired. And then they drop it. They say, I can't do this anymore. And who can blame them? So, the key is to get your diet and your exercise in sync. If you're out of shape and you're just getting started, just start with just some light exercise, light body weight exercises. Get yourself used to it. Get your diet in line, and with just a slight deficit, so that you're not starving. And that's a great start, and that'll get you going. All right, so my dilemma is meant to be skinny, but like lifting weights, and now that I'm getting stronger, my previous 2 rep max is now my 10. There you go. See, that's what I'm talking about. I need to do an hour of cardio and see if I get better. You know, find out what works for you, Vic. An hour of cardio is an awful lot. Depends on, you know, if you've got that time and you're going to do that kind of steady state cardio. Okay. Um, but I would recommend you do HIIT cardio. It stands for high intensity interval training. So, for example, if you're on a treadmill, you crank that up and you run for 30 seconds, at full out, just sprinting. Then you crank it back down and or get off of it while it's still running, and get your breath back. Take 30 seconds and get your breath and your heart rate down to normal again. Then get back up on it and do it again. And you keep doing that up and down, that interval training. What that does is it's an anaerobic exercise, the same way that lifting weights is anaerobic exercises. And the advantage of that is twofold. One, you don't catabolize muscle, okay, which is key. You want to keep your muscle. You want to lose your fat. And two is that when you're done with anaerobic exercises, your body continues to burn fat. Whereas if you're doing an aerobic exercise, when you stop doing it, you stop burning the fat. So you're only doing it when you get into that fat burning zone. So that's the advantages of doing HIIT cardio. I've read that bread is terrible and can be the equivalent of a candy bar. Bread is awesome. It's my kryptonite. Oh yeah. I'll fall off the wagon hard if somebody brings fresh bread into my house. I'll tell you that right now. I'll slather it up with butter. If it's just Wonder Bread or store bought bread, screw it. I could do without that. I won't eat bread with a burger. I'll order 2 patties, a burger with cheese, and have guacamole put on it, and you could put it on lettuce with a tomato or something like that, and it's fine. It's a nice full meal. I don't need that crappy bread because there is a lot of carbohydrates in it. Anthony Cap says, do you think you will come to Belfast, New York area for a meeting and greet and talk about health and comics? I don't even know where Belfast, New York is. Anthony, is that on Long Island? Or am I thinking of someplace else? I don't know where that is. Toe Hair says, my gut dead hangs over my waistband. Jimmy Owens is here. Hi, Jimmy. Geek Hero Bubba says the biggest problem is that bread and potatoes are 90% of the average U.S. diet. Yeah, it is. Well, I don't know about 90%, but it is a lot. And, sugar is in everything. If you drink sodas, diet sodas aren't that great for you either because they're filled with chemicals. But if I'm going to have a soda, that's what I'm going to have. I'm not going to have the full sugar one. Eli Munoz says, since my job is a grind, I need carbs throughout the day, but I also found that arugula, faux pans, and broccoli sprouts gives me a pep in my step, makes me feel 20 again. Okay. You don't need the carbs, Ellie. If you eat enough fat and protein, believe me, you'll get through the day, no problem, no matter how much walking you do. If you eat enough of it, and you won't have to have the carbs. You're substituting one energy source for another, and just like if carbs are your main energy source and you don't have enough of them, you get hungry and you want a snack. It'll be the same with fat and protein, but it's a lot easier. You can eat a lot less of it before you get hungry. Paulus Arts, recommendation for someone who's quite overweight, hasn't worked out in years, and it's hard to move. Focus on diet and walking. Absolutely. Focus on losing some of that body fat. And as I said, 80 to 90% of it is going to be your diet. If you add into that something as wonderful as walking, you will start to shed body weight. If your diet becomes less carb dependent, you're going to start to shed a lot of water too, right off the bat, because carbohydrates hold on to water. So you could do both those things: get your diet in order, drop those carbohydrates down, and walk. And then as you start to feel better, incorporate something a little bit more. Again, progressive overload. If you're starting here and you want to get here, you can't just go here. You gotta go slowly. You got to get yourself acclimated and get up there, and eventually you'll get there. But it just takes fortitude. It takes commitment, and you can do it. I also supplement with mushroom powders like cordyceps and lion's mane. Have you tried tiger balls? That might work. Okay, so let me go over to, if you've got more questions, sure, put them in there. No problem. We'll go back and forth. But I want to tell you some funny and not so funny tales from the dark side, tales at the gym. So, one time I was, if you know what a Smith machine is, a Smith machine is a bar, okay, and the bar is on a track, and the bar can go up and down like that. So it's a great machine that if you don't have a spotter, you could use for squats. You could use it for shoulder lifts, presses, or bench press. What makes it safe is that the bar has hooks on it, right? And you can rotate it like this. And then on the frame are pegs. So when you get done, you got this peg, and you can bring the bar up to it, turn it, and lock it in so that you can get out from under it. And one time I was doing that. I was doing a bench press, a chest workout, and I did one set and one rep too many, and so I couldn't get the bar up, to where it needed to go. And I'm straining and straining and straining, and I twist it to get the hook over the pins, but it doesn't go over the pin. The hook is like this. It goes like this. Instead of going like that, it goes like this, and it's hanging on the edge. So this is not safe. I'm afraid that if I let go of this bar, it's going to slip off that thing and boom, come right back down on me, and I've got no gas in the tank to get this thing off of me. And there's nobody around me. And so I must have looked like, if they have a video camera in that gym, it must have looked pretty funny, because I'm sitting there with my arms on this thing, and I'm curling up my legs to get it underneath the bar. So my legs are like this. I got the bar here, and I'm lifting up my butt and trying to have my knees and legs help me to push that thing just enough so I could lock it. And I did it. I ended up getting it up there. And then, I'm like, did anybody see that? I just started laughing. I felt so stupid. And another time, and you'll see this, and this has happened to me once, and I've seen it in many videos, and I've seen it even at my gym. No, I have not seen it at my gym, because if I had, I'd have gone over to help the guy. But if you're doing any kind of exercise, like, and what happened to me again is another bench press issue and this is on a straight bench. If you don't have a spotter or you don't have some type of safety bar set up, like doing it within a cage, a squat rack or something like that, where you can put safety bars in, and that weight's coming back down on you, you gotta, and you can't rack it, you're in a world of hurt. And I've seen videos where the guys had way too much, and he's like lifted it off and it just went bam right down on his neck or his chest. In fact, I saw one the other day where this guy was like, it was down on his neck. It was really scary. And he's like trying to get out from under it. Which is why I never put couplings or clasps at the end of the bars to lock them on. If I'm wobbling like that and the weight is going to go, then the weight's too high. So you gotta what you gotta do is you gotta dump it. So that's why you don't put those things on there. You gotta boom and let one end go and dump that stuff, and then it's gonna flip over and you dump the other side. And that's happened to me. I'll be honest, it happened one time at my gym here, and it was pretty embarrassing. So don't do that. Know your limits, like Clint Eastwood said, or better yet, get a spotter. That way, there's a whole mental thing when you have a spotter over you, is that you'll go for that extra one, and those are the ones that pay off for you. Those ones where you go over your ability, because that's the one you're really gonna work the muscle. And then, but having the safety of a guy that knows how to spot, when to grab it and help you up with it is really, really important. And then, and now this one isn't so funny. Again, this happened to me. This is about 2 years ago. I was doing a heavy lifting strength program, and I was on a leg press machine. That's where you lay on your back and you the weights are on the press, and then your feet come like this and you press it up like that. It's on a sled and it pushes it up. And I had what did I have? I think I had 800 pounds, somewhere around 700 to 800 pounds on there. And I had done 3 sets of 5, and I was feeling pretty good. And then I got jinxed. One of the trainers says, "Oh man, that's a lot of weight. That's I hope you don't hurt yourself." I'm like, "Oh no, I just did 3 sets. I'm going to do my final set now." And so I get down, I get on the thing, and I put my feet up on it. And where I went wrong was that my feet were angled out when they should have been straighter. Because when they're straighter, and your knees start to bend, the weight goes straight down onto you, okay? And then you're able to push it back up. As soon as you turn your feet out like that, now the weight is being distributed out. The further you get down, the weight is going out like that, or the gravity and is pushing it out. So now it's pushing out. All that stuff is coming in on those inner thighs instead of on the quadriceps, the bigger muscles. And so I did a couple reps, and then as I was coming back down, I felt this pop, and then another pop, and then it was like if you took like a little string and you put a heavy weight on it, right? And you watch that string, there's all those little strings that are wrapped around each other, and each one of those strings go pop, 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 pop until the weight drops. That's what happened. I tore a groin muscle, and that tear was that pop, 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 and I screamed, and I couldn't press, and all the weight just came right back down on me, and I rolled out from underneath it, and I was in a lot of pain, and it took months for that injury to heal. And so I've been, I always preach form, but every once in a while, You're gonna do something stupid. If you work out long enough, you're going to injure yourself. Simple as that. Some of it's just grinding, and some of it is stupid things like that. So don't do stupid things. And actually, here's the owner of my gym, Nicole. Nothing wrong with dumping it. I did dump it. So, got a whole bunch of folks here that, let's see. Vic says he likes the Smith machine. Yeah, I liked it too until I couldn't. The problem with the Smith machine is depending on the exercise I don't recommend anybody doing squats in it because it's a two-dimensional exercise. Because it's everything's locked into a track. You're only pushing the weight in two dimensions. Whereas, let's say you get into a squat rack and you do a low back squat and you get it up on your shoulders. Now, you're in all three dimensions. You have to use all these stabilizing muscles to keep yourself upright and get down and up and all that kind of stuff. So, if you can do free weights, I recommend that versus machines. Does your videos include stretching exercises? That's the level I'm at, LOL. Stretch, I'll be honest. I need to stretch more. I don't do it enough. I used to be very, very limber. And as I've gotten older, things start to tighten up. But I need to do that. And once I have to have a hernia surgery in April, and once that's done, then I'll be able to stretch more. But like right now, like my lower right side, I can't really stretch the leg all that much, which affects the back and all that kind of thing. So I've got to. Oh, hey, look at this! We got a $5 super chat from 200 Watt Studio. Getting rid of belly fat. Don't have a gym, just barbells and a bench. Okay. Let's put you up there, 200 Watt Studio. Thank you for that. Absolutely. You don't need a gym. Body weight exercises, push-ups, pull-ups, body weight squats. You've got a barbell, and a bench. It's perfect. You can do dips on your bench. You can do presses. You could sit on the bench and do overhead presses. If you've got the barbell, you could do rows, bent over rows. You can do just about every exercise with a bench and a barbell. You may have to buy extra weights to add to it as you get stronger, but with your diet in check and those kind of exercises, you could lose body fat, no problem, belly fat. And again, by going on to an elimination diet, eliminating carbohydrates, you're going to get rid of water weight first, and then they swear that belly fat's hard to lose. It's the hardest one because that's where men particularly tend to collect for some genetic or evolutionary reason. It's probably evolutionary. But by doing carnivore fat and protein diet tends to target that. At least that's what I've read. I forget if you were there, Nicole, that day. If you weren't, you probably still heard me. I screamed loud enough. I used to work out with this guy who would tell me to spot him when he was doing body weight squats so I could get behind him and brace him. He was looking for a date, dude. Greek Hero Bubba loves leg presses. He loves the leg press. It's an excellent exercise when it's done right. You can get a great burn in it, but just don't put 800 pounds on like I did. Hernia? Yeah, it's an inguinal hernia. It's down. I wonder how much of it was from the damage from that leg press incident, because I did tear stuff down there. So I wonder if I didn't damage it then, and that it was just waiting to finally pop. But it's been a year and a half now. I've had it a year and a half, and I can do just about everything. But it acts up, and it's getting more and more annoying, and it's something that has to get taken care of eventually. So I finally made an appointment in April to get it done, and but then I won't be able to go to the gym for like 4 to 8 weeks. I'll lose my mind, but we'll get it done. Hey, Dan Lawless is here. Hi, Dan. Now, this is a great question about nutrients. How do you get all your vitamins and minerals your body needs if you're only eating meat? Because everything you need is in there already. And the recommended daily amounts that the government tells you to that you have to have are so high because of things that are preventing your body from absorbing them properly. So they say, oh, if you eat just meat, you're going to get scurvy, like the sailors. Well, the sailors didn't get scurvy because they didn't eat oranges, which is what they had to do. They had to ship oranges, put oranges and citrus on there to get vitamin C, so they wouldn't get scurvy. But the reason was not is because they couldn't. They didn't have access to meat on those ships, and they ate high carbohydrate meals, and that prevents the absorption of the vitamins and minerals properly into your body. So you have to take in so much more just so you get what you need. People have been doing carnivore in other countries, in other look at the Maasai. All they eat is beef, blood, and milk, and they don't have it. Eskimos, the Inuits, they don't eat vitamin C. They don't eat oranges or citrus because they don't have access to it. They don't have access to vegetables, and yet they don't have any of those nutrient problems as well. It's when you start introducing, processed food and crap like that. So everything is in there. All the building blocks to build muscle are in muscle that you eat. So there you go. Fat is mostly about diet. You mean getting rid of it or having excess? Yeah, it is. I'll never spot another guy on squats. Yeah, it's not as easy as doing it, say a bench press or something like that. Alrighty. All right, my friends. I think we're gonna end it here. I have some stuff I got to do before our guests come over for dinner. I want to thank you for coming out in the middle of the day for this. Got a question that just came in real quick. How many carbs are you allowed on carnivore? Well, the idea is none. Is to eat as little as possible. It's as simple as that. If you're eating true carnivore, as in fat, meat, protein, dairy, there are no carbs in that stuff. So you could literally have 0 carbs. But, every once in a while I'll throw some nuts in the old trap there. And that's got some carbs. But, just keep it as low as possible and see how you feel. Again, it's truly an elimination diet. So if your body, once you become acclimated to it, can handle adding some of that stuff back in, okay. If you like it and you want to add it back in and it doesn't bother you, then go for it. You're welcome, Paul. And Dan, you're welcome as well. Thank you. Thank you guys for joining me today. Monday, we're gonna go into a little bit more about plants, plant diets, and and the eating of vegetables and that kind of stuff. And in an episode we're going to call "Are Plants Trying to Kill Us?" I think it'll be fun. It'll be informative. It will be maybe controversial to some people. But tune in and we'll talk about it. Until then, everybody, I hope you guys have a great weekend. Get those workouts in, get plenty of sleep, plenty of water, get your diet together, and we will see you Monday. Have a good one. Bye-bye.